All right, let's try this again. Welcome to the Dad's Club. My name is Pablo. This is the third time we're trying to say this. And
Yeesh.
we have John right here. There we go.
I am here. Hi, guys.
Hey, John, what's going on, brother? So, like again, guys, welcome again, and thanks for watching and listening. Just a favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so you can stay current with our content. We're trying to get more and more and more content to the channel. Forgive us, we've been so busy, to be honest with you. I'm not kidding. We're super busy. Uh walking up the stairs for 3 stories and stuff like that. We have to go back and forth, back and forth. It's just I'm talking about work at the church. Me and John, we work at the church. So if you didn't know, we had a lot of things going on. Technology. Uh, we have to stay current with cables. Running cable. John has been running cables for me too. While I'm actually, anyway, we've been really, really busy. I mean, that's the
Oh,
reason
yeah.
why we just came out of summer camp at church for the kids ministry, which my wife actually runs. John has been actually helping me right there, so it's just like both of us were split and do a lot of stuff. But
Grinding.
I give I give I give I give I give John all the stuff because like he's super helpful. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. I didn't know.
Grinding. No,
Hey,
that's what it's about.
we're a team.
We grind. We get it done. We do what it takes.
I do what it takes. Anyway, okay, let's try this time. The third time.
We
We were
can do
trying
it.
to record for the last time, and like something happens. John loses his vocal, and then I can't hear him. He can't hear me. So and so and so so. So here we are. Welcome to that club. This is going to be an interesting topic today. We don't have a video to react. I'll be honest with you. I don't think actually we need a video to react. We have an interesting topic. I said we were going to be speaking about discipline and structure, something that I talked to. If you guys go back to a couple episodes before, you guys going to hear when I interview Eric King. He's a sweet guy. He's a really nice guy. And if you guys hear his story and listen to his story, his dad wanted to abort the baby, which it was him and his mom's womb, and uh, the mom didn't want to abort Eric, and it happened to, technically sad story for a lot of people, a lot of kids these days that they just want to get abortion and just want to abort the kid, which is totally the opposite of what we believe, right? There's actually scientific studies that at the moment of conception, I'm sorry,
There it
at the moment
is.
of conception, there's actually,
Conception.
yeah, there you go. There's a light in the womb, and who else actually brings the light to your life, which is actually God, right? So He's the one that blesses all this stuff. And like I said, maybe you think you were a mistake. You are not a mistake. Maybe you think your dad made a mistake, or your mom made a mistake, or you as a dad, you as a mom made a mistake. Please don't think that way. That you think that's a lie of the enemy. That's for sure. And I don't want anybody to go through that. And we're not going to go through that. But the point of me telling about Eric King is that we spoke and talked about his kids and how he deals with them. He's a totally opposite of what his dad used to be,
Mm.
and that's something that is, I applaud, I celebrate, and if you guys hear me, I just give him a lot of compliments on that sense because if John knows him, we know him for so many years. I think John knows him more, more than me. He's a really really nice, sweet guy that you can approach anytime. A lot of youth come to him and just start talking to him. I think he will be a great fit for the youth ministry. To be honest with you, but
I mean,
Maggie
he
hasn't.
was. He was, and when in my time of the youth
Oh,
ministry,
was he?
he was
I didn't
one
know
of the
that.
youth leaders. Yeah, so Eric King poured into me, and I see him as a spiritual father now. He's like one I can bear my entire soul to, and know I can like be comforted
I,
and
likewise.
receive like correction and what a father does. And so, but he bought me like my first laptop.
Oh,
Yeah, he invested like all that, and so without Eric, I don't know where I'd be. Um, Really, no, I mean that like I literally don't know what. I mean, with him investing like that,
yeah,
investing in me and investing time, taking me to like Cal football games and spending like time at
yeah,
his house, and
yeah.
like he really invested like time and love
Yeah.
and all the things into me. And so yeah, I owe my
Hey,
uh,
first of all, like I said, I don't know if you guys are used to say "I love you," but I love Eric King. I love he's a great man. I
it's
love him
hard
like
not to love him.
yeah, it's like hard not to love. Yeah, I mean he's a great dude. His
Yeah.
kids love him so much. And like I said, we spoke about little uh, uh, stories that when I saved, I think it was Ethan or something. He was drowning. One of the pools that we went to when we went to the Disneyland trip, the Bible
Mhm.
reading challenge, and then normally we rent a house and we have all these parties and it's just a good time for the kids. And if the parents are going to go with us, they pay their way. But the church pays the ticket for the kids for 3 days. And one of those days we jump into the pool, and then Ethan was like super small. He was like 6 or 7, and all of a sudden he started drowning. Like, where's Ethan? And I saw him in the bottom of the pool, and I just like jumped in, took my phone out, and like just grab him. I never seen a kid like that. He just like, but it was like the Kings were there, Eric and Lori were there. So Lori was like, she was panicking. I cannot imagine. It was terrible. But
That's
thank
scary.
God we
That's
saw
super
him. Thank
scary.
God everywhere was there. And then yeah. Hey, take care of your kids, parents. Take care of your kids. Take care of your kids. Anyway, how you doing, bro?
Doing great. Um, Gearing up for this week's lot to do at the church,
Like,
but and we got a school that we're launching soon, and so it's just
now
the
you want
work
to tell us?
is
You want to tell us more about that?
yeah. School worship, Shiloh School Worship. It's launching in. We're gonna have an intensive in August. So if you're interested, reach out to me. Um,
We'll put out. Do you have a
yeah,
link?
yeah, we'll put a link down to my email or to the registration forms or interest forms and stuff. But basically, it's if you're interested in in worship, when it comes to if you have gifts, like playing an instrument, singing. If you want to be on the production end, if you are
Yeah,
interested in
please.
sound, if you're interested in dance, all those things, arts, all these things that kind of fit under the umbrella of worship, all the things that, that God used all these gifts for.
Yep.
We are we've created a 9-month intensive program for those who have these gifts and want to know more about the why, behind, and that's mostly what we want to focus on is the
Right.
why behind everything. Because you can go to any church, you can see, all these talented people and hear amazing musicians, hear amazing vocals. But if you're not getting the understanding of who you're worshiping and why you're doing
Right.
specifically what you're doing, it becomes performance. And so we believed, Jamie and I, we definitely put in our hearts from growing up in this house in Shiloh, to how to combat the
Yeah.
performance mentality and really and it just comes down to the knowledge and understanding and knowing the why behind everything and where it says, where it's in the Bible, why do we play instruments? Why do we sing? Why do we clap? Why do we do all these things? Why do we dance? So all
Yeah.
the school is geared. It's a 9-month intensive program. Yes, you learn the whys, and we also pour in the practical. And so if you
The
have
skill.
gifts,
The
the skill
skills. Yep.
building, yeah. If you
Yep.
have the practical skills, we focus on vocal
Yeah.
techniques, mic techniques, from guitars to keyboards to again to production, lighting, cameras, all these things that that center around worshiping God and providing and providing and creating a space and atmosphere for worshiping the Lord. That's what it's about.
Yeah, I just want to mention something about scales, skills, not skittles, skills. I
Skittles.
that actually sounds good. One of the things that wherever you go, if you have a skill, yeah, talent, or a gift to play instruments and stuff like that, uh, your gift is gonna make room for you. But the way you work in your gifts, it's by giving yourself to these gifts, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Well, it means that probably you have to play at a church. Probably you have to invest in your gifts. You have to invest in stuff like that. So one of the best options for a lot of musicians in church is essentially the young people right now. If you want to invest in that, I invite you to come. I invite you to just check it out. You know, you got time, you got free time. Just come check us out, right?
Yeah, and I
And
think that word invest is the absolute right word because regardless if you take do if you go to school for it, if you take a program, you're going to invest. If you're even taking the time at home, you're trying to teach yourself, you're trying to
yeah,
develop your skills at home. That's still investment, and so to have people who have been around for a while, Jamie and I, we've been doing this thing for a while, and we've been trained, but by amazing worshipers, amazing teachers, and we definitely got a great team behind us who definitely have the knowledge and understanding, and so we're able to be intentional with these courses, with our with our program,
correct.
and really pour into really this next generation, of worshipers and those who are, kind of wondering what this is all about, or have a gift, but need to be pointed in the right direction. This that's what the School of Worship's for, and so we're definitely it's open. It's not just for Shiloh Church. It's for anybody
Anybody. Yep.
who's interested, and anybody who has who wants to just go deeper in their in their really in their walk, their spiritual walk, but also how can they be effective in ministry, in ministering to the Lord and
Especially if you give
ministering to
to the
others.
ministry. Yeah, especially if you give to the ministry, though. That's one of the things. And like I said, you and I, we grew up at church, and I think our skills made the way for what we are right now, to be honest with you. So we both play, we both, I mean, my skills actually, I went to school for production and sound engineer, but it doesn't mean that, like I said, I didn't know nothing about some point. Like when I got here in 2006, I started actually making videos, which it was my forte. And like I said, all this stuff, cameras, whatever you want to call it, it's actually a gate for you to learn and perfection your skills and work them out and stuff that are going to help you in the future. So if you're young, if you're around, not from our church, but if you're listening to this, or parents, if you have your teenagers, say, listen, this is actually going to be a good opportunity for them to learn something that it's going to be send your kids to learn something that is going to be good for them in the future and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
And
believe me, I've been serving in church since I was, let's say, 13, 14.
yeah,
And I really wish something like this was available for me
okay.
because there have been so many times where I've missed the mark morally, so many times where I missed the mark, even spiritually, like where I'm doing what I'm doing, for all the wrong reasons and with no real depth or understanding, just playing instruments just because somebody's asked me to, as
Correct.
opposed to actually doing, playing instruments, and actually serving the Lord with what I, with what He's been given to me. So,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
this is a great opportunity for people who are starting out, or who have. I mean, it's really for anybody. But if you're wanting to grow
yeah.
your understanding and grow your skill in worship, this is what
We're not gonna have workshops for flags. That's for sure.
there will be understanding about it. We'll definitely. I think it will pertain to dance and that, but There's all,
Come on.
in the Bible, there's all sorts
Yeah,
of
yeah, I get it. Come on,
talks
bro.
about that.
Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. It's like those flags are in my shots. Anyway, so I already spoke about that.
Jesus.
Jesus, Jesus,
That's all you
Jesus,
see. Just
Jesus,
wait.
Jesus,
I'm trying to
Jesus.
see the. I'm trying to see the
Yeah, can I
worship.
see the worship leader? No, my flag is in the way. Anyway,
What they
all
say?
right. So we listen. I think one of the main things in the school, and I'm gonna jump into our topic with this because it speaks about mentorship, right? You spoke about, hey, I wish I had this before, this type of teaching, this type of school, and that will mentor me, and maybe just to go further in something that I'm passionate about or I like it, or you know, that's one of the things that I started. I started going into school. I went to SAE for audio engineer, and that was late in my 20s, right? My parents did not actually pay for that. My mom had another plans for me, and I'm not just throwing my mom under the bus. I'm just saying, she had things that probably she was going with it. Like I went to school for marketing, totally opposite of what I'm doing right now. But I think there was a call in my life, and I'm trying to follow that call, and sometimes you got to invest out of your pocket. So investing is gonna make you appreciate what you going through, and
Mm-hmm.
that's actually gonna help you out in along the way. But um, yeah, one of the things that I want to talk about is mentorship. And mentorship brings two things to the table. It brings, like I said, with Eric King, I spoke with him about this, and I asked him his opinion about what's going on. Mentorship brings discipline and brings structure. What do you think? I'm going to throw it back to you. What do you think is the difference between structure and discipline?
Um, I think structure is. Wow, you're just kind of throwing that.
Sorry, bro.
Structure and or sorry, what was it? Say it again.
Discipline and the structure, right?
Discipline and structure. I think discipline helps with the structure. But yeah, they are definitely different things. I think discipline can look different according to the situation. I'm
Right.
trying to think about a lot of the times where I have to discipline my son, where I have to say, sometimes where it is just like, hey, don't do that, or hey, like you're doing something that you're not supposed to, or that was not okay. Like, there's different levels of discipline, but structure is something that's I think can be planned out. That should be implemented for your little ones.
Yep.
Because without structure, I mean, maybe another way of even saying structure is, you know, I get maybe an example of structure is having set schedule, or having like set times for, like this time is nap. We're always gonna have nap time at this time, and you're
Right.
always gonna go to bed at this time. Because I mean, there are, and it's not to knock any parents any at all, but to not have that sort of structure is almost hard for, it's really, you make it really difficult for the little ones,
For
because there's
yourself too.
no, for yourself, but your little ones don't have something to look forward to. There's, it's hard for them to follow you if you're not really setting a an example, setting a structure, for them. And we talk about the natural structures. Think about like the
The
building,
spiritual.
that I'm even in right now. Like if the structure is not stable, then like anything could cause this building to fall apart. You need the right foundation. You need the right materials. You need, there's
You need
got
a
to be intentionality
right.
in those things specifically in order for a building to stand and not just tip over whenever the wind blows. So, and then discipline is I think to reinforce, that structure, and to reinforce, to help guide, your little ones, hey, you're not, right now is time for your nap, and you're not listening. You're coming out of your bed. I'm totally thinking about Jude at this point. Even just yesterday, where we're like, okay, time for nap. Lay him down, and he's like coming back out with the toy. He's like, I'm not tired, and we're like,
I don't care.
buddy, this isn't about that. You need to. It's time to just rest your body. And there'd be plenty of times where we put him in his room,
Right.
and he's been awake, but just like
In
sitting in
quiet
his
time.
bed quietly.
Yep.
Yeah, and the intentionality behind that is, that he's getting time to just calm his body, calm his, from because we were wrestling for like an hour
But
straight
but
yesterday.
you but you can see that if you actually don't put him to sleep or take a nap,
Oh, his
right? In the
whole
middle of the day,
day.
it's like no, leave that. I think at some point he's gonna go up. In my case, my girls, I know that I need to put Esme for a nap sometimes, and they go to sleep at 5 o'clock. I was like, no, 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 wake up! You need to wake up. That's exactly what I tell you. You got to take your nap. I seem like a broken record right here, but we all know, parents know, mom, dad, if you're listening, yeah, you know that discipline and discipline in having our kids. If you have small kids, young kids, they need to take a nap, especially the babies. Right? In my case, they need to take the 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 nap, right? And we appreciate those times because now allows us to do things that we couldn't do with them. You have to be with them, watch them, stuff like that. So that's one of the things I see that discipline is it's a very important factor when it comes out to lay down the structure for your kids. You need to have a discipline. If you're a mechanic, you need. I'm sorry. Let me just go delete what I said. Not about the structure, but delete what I said about the mechanics. So let me just move to another thing. If you spoke about foundation, right? It's a very important thing to have a foundation as a dad, so you can lay the same foundation in your son. If you don't care about your kids, you're not gonna lay down a foundation. If you don't care about your babies, if you don't care about your daughter, your son, if you don't care about your company, if you don't care about your job, you're not going to have the structure for that. And you're not going to have the discipline to continue doing what you're supposed to do, right? So I see it this way. An architect comes, he lays down the whole plan, right? This is how it looks like. This is how we're going to build it. And then now you're laying down the structure, right? This is the structure. We're going to build the foundation. And then from the foundation, we're just going to go up. But in order for you to get there, I see it this way. The discipline has to come this way. And I tell you this because this week last week, was it this week? Yeah, no, this week we went to church, me and Maggie, on Monday. And um, uh, one of her part of his staff right there, shout out to Jonica. We sat down to eat and we were having lunch and stuff like that. And it was shocking because I started talking about Eli. If you guys know something about Eli, and this is gonna be, we're gonna go back to the Bible, right? And this is why I'm actually bringing this subject, because it's very important for you guys to listen to this. Uh, I saw, and when I grew up, I read the story about Samuel. It was more focused on Samuel's call and all this stuff. But if you go and see the context of what was happening around that time, Eli came into play, or came into the scene when he was a priest and he was a judge from the people of Israel. He was a judge and priest for 40 years. I'm not going to go in numerology, but technically 40 years is a years. 40 years is equivalent of testing, right? So, but there was something very, very, it bothers me, right? Just to think that Eli's kids, sons, they were not part of the plan what God had for Eli. Also, Eli, in the Bible said that Eli died. He literally just hit his head, and he died because he was fat. That's exactly what the Bible said. I'm not lying. Just go look at it, right? One of the things that when God is speaking to Samuel, when he reveals to him and say, "Hey, I want you to tell," I'm actually, let me just look at it right here. Let me just show it. Uh, This is the NLT. Is it NLT? Yeah, the NLT version for all those who actually want to listen. I'm not going to go into Bible study. I just want you to see what I'm talking about. And Samuel, right here, the call, but Eli called them and said, but the story about Hannah and Samuel, and you guys know this story. I want to go into this one right here. Why is not giving me actually the
Well, just sit down there, read full chapter.
where is it?
Read
Oh
the
yeah,
whole
read full
chapter.
chapter. Okay, there we go. And the boy Samuel ministered before the Lord under Eli. Okay, and in those days, the word of the Lord was rare, and there were not many visions. One night, Eli, with whose eyes were becoming so weak, he could barely see, was lying down in his usual place. So this is all the call from Samuel, right? If you go right here, the Lord came down and stood there. It's called Samuel. Samuel. Samuel said, "Speak up, for your servant is listening." So this is the third time when Samuel was. Eli told Samuel, "Hey, this is what you gotta say. This is what you gotta tell him." Right. Therefore, God is started actually speaking to Samuel, and it says right here, "At this time, I will carry it out against Eli everything I spoke against his family," which is super sad because you can see that. Well, technically, God, it was Eli. I'm sorry, Eli is serving in the temple of God. He's a priest, but he's not only a priest; he's a judge. So he has leadership in the people of Israel. And for I told him that I would judge his family forever because of the sin he knew about. His sons blasphemed God, and he failed to restrain them. And another translation says he failed to discipline them, which is something very, very, very sad. Again, it says right here, and I told my wife, like, did you know? This is what I found out. You cannot go to heaven if you're in sin.
Mm.
For I told him what I would judge his family forever because of the sin he knew about his son's blasphemy, and if he failed to restrain or if he failed to discipline his kid. Therefore, I swore to the house of Eli, the guilt of Eli's house will never be atoned by a sacrifice or offering, which is super super sad. And then if I was me, I would just go like, Lord God, forgive me. Right? That will be me. But the super sad thing about this is that Eli did not actually repent,
Mm.
which is another super sad thing. So we're just gonna go right here where it says, and then Eli Samuel lay down until the morning and then opened the doors of the house of the Lord. So he started doing his duties, and he was afraid to tell Eli the vision. But Eli called him and said, Samuel, my son. Samuel answered, Here I am. And Eli said, What was that he said to you, the Lord? And he said, do not hide it from me. May God deal with you, be ever so severely, if you hide it from me, anything he told you. So Samuel told everything, hiding nothing from him. Then Eli said, He is the Lord. Let him do whatever is good in his eyes. That's it. Because you don't see nothing about. And Eli fell down and then ripped his coat and whatever. And that's what exactly what it is, right? Back in the Jewish tradition, like there was sadness, there was sorrow or something like that. They would just rip their coats or their clothes, and that's a sign of sadness and repentance technically. But if you guys see right here, he's doing the same thing. It doesn't matter what God said, he did not repent.
Mm.
So I don't know. I'm just gonna throw it back to you. You think Eli went to heaven? I don't think so.
I mean,
I mean, it's clear.
there's no repentance. So I mean,
Not at all. I mean, you can go into the chapter number 2
and I
when
mean, if God is literally saying nothing you do, not even a sacrifice or offering will nothing you do.
I think God knew that he was not gonna say, "Oh, sorry, God, forgive me. I have sinned." This is a sad thing about the leadership many times in church. I I've seen him many times. I've seen in the past, I've seen people who are just literally praying, who are actually just preaching, excuse me, the word of God, and they just, there's no repentance in their life. They just keep on doing the same thing that were taught before. So why I'm actually saying all this, if you guys see right here, this word where it says, and he failed to restrain them to his kids. And if you guys read the story about his kids were like literally just like fornicating in the temple and getting women inside the temple, eating the fat of the sacrifices, which is actually there, it was not part of that, right?
No,
They were
no.
not supposed to be partaking of that stuff. And then on top of that, they got people involved. They send a servant. You know, you go a thousand ways this way. What I'm actually focusing right now, it's like he failed to restrain them. And I actually have a scripture right here. It says in Proverbs 29:17, discipline your child, and he or she will give you rest. She will give you the delight to your heart. And discipline, it's something that we have to execute. We have to make sure uh we practice, bro, because I I believe from the parents structure, the kids are gonna be the person who they will become at some point, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I think that the discipline that we give now sows seed for self control,
Right.
sows seed for, you know, I mean, mostly, yeah. I mean, self control. That's, you know, you. I think about the discipline I received as a child, and what I know. You know what I know now. In, you know, I mean, I didn't. Okay, so there's a story that I kind of alluded to. You know, a few episodes back, where I got whooped for something that my sisters stole,
There we
or
go again.
my older sister stole, Olivia. Um, and I got whooped because she didn't confess. So my parents, to make an example,
Ooh.
just whooped us all. Like, oh, you're not gonna tell the truth, then your sister and your brother are gonna get it too. And so we got it, but I didn't do it. But I now know, like, oh, I'm not gonna steal.
Did you
I'm
guys
not
talk
gonna.
about? Did you guys talk about that? Let me just put a pause in it. Did you guys talk about that at least?
Oh yeah, we laugh about it now. We were mad at her for the longest time. I don't think there was forgiveness in our heart, but as adults now, we laugh about it. We're like, hey, remember that time you stole something? We got beat for it. Yeah, that's still in our that's still pretty fresh in our minds. No, it's not. But it's just funny, just because. Yeah, I mean, if my parents didn't take that seriously,
Right.
you know, if they didn't if they didn't show restraint on us, then what, you know, we could, that gives us in our little minds, oh, we can do anything. Then
It,
we
you
can get
said
away with
something.
anything.
You said something very important. If you don't take seriously, I mean, we passed opportunities when we can teach him.
Hmm.
Not I'm not speaking about spanking or pow or no. I'm thinking about maybe putting him time out and just say, hey, listen, think about what you did. And I mean, in my case, I go through that and I ask him, what do you think I actually put you on timeout? Oh, because you
Hmm.
were mad at me. No, 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 no. I didn't get mad at you because of that. I got mad and I try to explain what's going on because now, I mean, I have 6-year-old almost to be 7 at the end of the year,
Oh my
and
gosh.
and they have a reason. They start using the reason. Well, pop, dad spanked me um because he wanted to spank me. No, 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 no. I did not touch you. And like I said, when I spank in the bottom. I'm not spanking in any other part of the body. That's not for me. I never actually do that. My mom, for the other hand, I gotta forgive. No, I'm serious. I already forgave. But it's like, she was just tossing stuff at you, and
Anything
whatever
within reach.
whatever her hand can reach and touch, boom, you're done. I mean, anyway,
If you could
I love you,
dodge a
mom.
wrench,
I
you
love
could
you.
dodge a ball.
I love my mom. I love my mom. I love my parents. My parents. Like I said again. the importance of you taking seriously about discipline. I'm again, for a lot of people, this word is going to be a trigger. Don't get triggered by this and don't be like, oh, these guys are talking about spanking. No, I'm not talking about spanking. I'm talking about discipline in a way that you have to remind your kid. The Bible says that we have to be reminded of the goodness of God every single day. I have to be reminded of when and where God rescued me so I can be thankful. And I think
Hmm.
that's going to be a very good opportunity for your kid when you grow up. And like you guys, you're thankful for that. You're speaking
Yeah.
about your parents in that sense that, like, because of the faithfulness and because of the how seriously they took this in hand. I'm this way, and I'm respectful, and I'm thankful for that. So
Yeah.
again, if we go to Proverbs 29:17, discipline your child, and he will give you rest, and he will give you delight to your heart. You got to be proud of him. You want to be proud of your kids. I want to be proud of my kids, but it involves me doing the work with me and my wife partnership. It's a partnership, right? We always going to
Yeah.
be talking about this stuff. Like, hey, let me just give up. I ask my wife, like, sometimes, like, can I give him pop out? I was like, yeah, give him pop out. They've been going like this whole day, right? But I have to tell him I'm gonna give you a pop out, or you're gonna be in timeout for this reason. Think about it. Boom, there we go.
Yeah.
Now you put that in their heads, and then they start thinking about it. Like I said, later on, you can see that they start reasoning. Is like, you know what, Dad, Mom, please forgive me, and they ask for forgiveness. They don't say sorry. Sorry is totally different for saying forgive me. I've done this.
Well, I think that's the difference between our generation and my parents' generation. I think there's a lot more follow through.
Correct.
Well, the discipline that I received didn't really come with that, and I'm
Sure.
doing exactly what you're doing too. Like, hey, I'm letting him know, like, I don't want to give you papas. I don't want to do this. This is not daddy's like
Favorite
favorite
part.
thing to
Yeah.
do.
Yep.
This is not what like, but you have to know like once you start getting older, consequences start to get a lot more serious. Consequences become a lot more real. It
Right.
hits you financially, it hits you physically, it hits
Correct.
your relationships, it hits everything when you're not understanding the depth of the consequences,
Right.
based on your actions. And so that's what we're hitting home with Judah is you got disciplined and then, yeah, like you're doing, do you know why? And if he's not understanding why, then we help him understand why because this was a very serious thing.
Right. And
You hitting physically hurting somebody is that's a very serious thing.
it's serious.
You
Yeah.
running off into the street, like that's a very serious thing. You can get hurt, you can die,
Oh,
and we don't want that.
no, not really. Like I said, one of the things is the discipline. It will bring you peace in that sense, but how I say this, how do I say this? It's just it's a very touchy subject for a lot of parents. I would love to actually open up in discussion with a lot of dads right here. Bring it to a maybe a men's group and say because I've seen I have friends that have a men's group and like we're a man, we're man, yes, and let's have a barbecue. Yes, and like to be honest with you, I don't care about barbecues. I care about kind of like giving you the reason why we're here. We all need to be listened to. We all need to be heard at the same time. Like we need to restructure stuff, right? You said something about kind of like meaning that restructure of your family. If you don't give discipline to your kids, your your kids' boss is gonna give them the discipline, and you gotta be embarrassed as a dad
Hmm.
or as a mom. If you don't give discipline to your kids, the police is gonna give the discipline to your kids, and then you're gonna like, oh no, you're gonna have people running on the street saying like police brutality and stuff like that. Like no, 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 no. Yes, I understand that people have agendas and people are mean and people actually are uh, they have different views from where we are. But if you're doing what you're supposed to do, I'm fine. Like, ask me how many times I've been stopped once, and it was
Hmm.
because my tax expired, and I was like, oh shoot, I got to put it back. And I had it right there, so I showed the cop, I showed the officer my tag, and was like, you know what? I was going somewhere and he stopped me. He's like, "Hey, just put it in the bag so we don't have to stop you." That's it. Did I comply
You
with
can't.
everything he asked me for? Yes, I did. It's like, "Hey, put your hands outside, and then do you have your license? Yes. Can I reach out to him?" Like, okay, there we go. So I think that's one of the things that you and I, we've learned. If you do what you're supposed to do, you're not going to get in trouble. Now, if you're not doing what you're supposed to, you try to cheat the system, you try to double dip. Of course, there's going to be eyes on you. Of course, there's going to be people watching you. Of course, there's going to be a system literally trying to make sure you pay for what you did, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, I think it's common sense, and we talked about this. That about common sense. There was a comment saying like, you guys talk about common sense, but for a lot of people, it's not like that. I was like, well, I'm sorry, like I'm not like that, right? And I'm not gonna teach common sense. I think the person was talking about teaching common sense. We cannot teach it. He's like, oh, you can actually implement it. Like, no, there's no teaching. I mean, I researched everything. It just say you cannot teach common sense. If the person doesn't have common sense or there's no sense in his how do I say this? Like it's careless. That's what it is. It's like careless. It's like it's just focus on one thing. To me, I can focus on a lot of things, and it's just like being focused on the things that we got to do. You and I.
Yeah. Well, I
Uh,
think when you're an adult, it's harder. But when you have a little one, it can't necessarily be taught, but you can do things. You can do things to make them think more about what they're doing, to have them slow down and figure things out, or show them
yep.
like this is how you do this. This is how someone with common sense would do this. And so yeah, that's a sad thing, in
Yeah.
terms of, you really can't. It's hard. It really is difficult to teach somebody who is a lot older, um, what is how to just use common sense.
And,
It's
and I just want to make a pause and make it clear, guys. Me and John, we have our jobs, right? John is a full time pastor in our local church. Local church. What's going on with me? And I'm a
sorry.
contractor
Have
for the
some of
company
this.
for the church. I'm a contractor for the church that I give my time, and also I get compensated. I'm not gonna say no, but I just got hired full time by a company, and actually just like I said, if you guys know my story, I lost my job back in January. The company that I worked for 12 years, they were doing surpluses. They were getting rid of people. Unfortunately, I was one of the cutoffs right there. So, but I was in peace. I know God is gonna get me. He's got me to me and my family. And a lot of people was like, "Oh my goodness, I don't know how you doing. I don't know why you have peace in this season." And it's like, well, I have peace. I know the peace. I know the Prince of Peace, which is Jesus. And like I said, He's gonna give me peace and rest. So I'm gonna rest. I'm not gonna worry about it tomorrow. And like I said, I need this time anyway. I was gonna take time off because I needed to be with my family. I needed to be with my wife. We received our second pair of twins, which is crazy and amazing at the same time. And after the third month, I'm start actually putting resumes and applying for jobs. And I literally have two opportunities to pick which company I'm gonna go for, and I already picked. And it's gonna hold in a pray. And I was praying that God is gonna guide me into that, because you're gonna have tough decisions, and they're gonna impact your family in the future. Yes, they will. If your cheating problem, if your eyes are giving you problems to your soul, it's gonna give you problems to your family, to your wife, to your marriage. If your unfaithfulness is it's reflecting right now by you watching stuff that you're not supposed to, it's gonna reflect on your marriage. It's gonna reflect on your kids, and then you can lose everything. So let's be smart, guys. I'm
Yeah,
talking to the man right now.
what you
Let's
sow
be
is what
smart.
what you sow into is what you reap. It's not like cliche. It's literally like just like the law of gravity. What you sow, it's real. The law of gravity is real. And so the same with, the what you sow into is what you will reap. That is like
Did you
it's
watch that video? Well, this lady that she was saying that the law of gravity is not true.
Oh yeah, but so I guess air is just yeah. Oh, she got owned.
Hey, listen, I don't know where these people get this from. I don't know where they get it. All this. I'm sorry, guys. We have
Common
to
sense
come
is gone.
and see what I'm saying about common sense. There's no common sense. What makes you think you? Anyway, I'm not gonna go this way. But going back to what I was saying, and what John is actually being part of this is that we men, if you want rest, I mean, Proverbs 29:17 doesn't apply only for our kids; it applies for ourselves. Discipline will give you not only to your child, but it will give you too rest and will give you delight.
Yeah.
Discipline, yes, self-control, yes, you have to make sacrifices, yes, you have to cut off some stuff, like, even Jesus said is like, if your eye is making you fall, you gotta gouge it out, not in a physical way but in a spiritual way, like, you gotta circumcise your heart for those type of stuff, otherwise you're gonna do whatever the heck you want. Now, am I gonna comply with what God wants from my life and with my in my life? Yes, it's hard because my human nature is gonna go against it. My human nature, what I think, what I see, what triggers me, what the things that I actually did before I came to Jesus, whatever your walk is, yes, you have to make sure you comply with all this stuff, and you have to have focus as
Also,
a dad.
simply put, you also have to recognize what is a sin, and recognize like
We see it in Eli.
some people are all right in their sin
Yeah,
and can and want to just function in that, thinking it's okay. But
we saw it with Eli, right? It says right
exactly,
there.
that's a
It's like,
wonderful
well,
example.
let God do whatever He wants to do, and cool.
Yeah. No, and the God uses everything, not just like, yeah, like you said earlier, Samuel is like the star of that movie, but like all
But
the other components that lead up to Samuel, Eli, and all that, those all matter too. These are all stories and examples that we've got to follow. And so if your heart is not completely repentant, and if you're
correct.
loving the sin you're in, it's going to be hard to shake it. You
Yeah.
have to hate. You got to hate that sin, and that's how I got. That's how I got free from pornography, from those addictions. Is, man, it's detrimental to my life, not just like my relationship, not but just to my life. It's even no wonder where I'm looking at videos of just men's like health, men's fitness, where they're like, stop watching porn, stop
Yeah.
masturbating, stop doing these
Yeah.
things, because and these are not saved people. These are not people who are like, following. Maybe they do. I don't know their walk with the Lord. But even the world is literally telling you,
Silliness.
like,
Yeah. This
this
is
is
not good.
bad for your health. This is not good for your mind, for all of that.
It
So
distorts actually what that reality is. A lot of things in this era is just not living in the reality, like what we say, common sense. Come to you, common sense. Like, come to yourself and see if this is good. Is it actually needed? If you Let me ask you this, right? There's a lot of couples, and you and I, we know people who actually their couple they going and they do stuff that we're not supposed to actually. In no reality, it's this friend of ours. He is he's filming. Um, he's in the industry of pornography, right? And he posts a lot of things about his wife and all this stuff, and it's just like, I think, at some point I actually had, because he's still actually my friend and I love him, and I
wait,
wish
we
I can
we
actually.
have a friend who is.
Yeah,
Do I know? Wait,
yeah.
who do I? Okay, we'll talk about it. I'm like, wait,
he,
what? Do
he's
I?
he's white, and
Okay, I think I know you're talking about.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. and he, I know, he's very open about his stuff, his marriage and stuff like that, and what he does is like, sometimes like, it's just like, bro, I don't want to hear what you did to your wife. I'm sorry, I'm gotta go. And like, he calls me
Yeah.
sometimes like, okay, bro, I'm sorry, I gotta go, thank you. But I love him at the same time. I want to give him the respect. I want to hear him, and like I said, probably for me it's been more of a, hey, you know what, what are your kids are gonna think about this stuff? What do you think are gonna kid if they care about what you're doing, right?
Hmm.
I think it's the perspective that both of them have, and they try to hide it. They try to portray something that is it's just like a normal family, but all of a sudden, closed doors. Both of them, they do other stuff, right? They don't want their kids to know, but technically, they're gonna know at some point. Does it make sense? No. Have I told them? I told them this. Yes, I have. It, I, I'm sorry, they don't care. So okay, well, I love him. I always say, he actually went through a tough time with one of his kids, and I pray for him, and I actually say, hey, I got something from my heart that I'm just telling you that your kid is gonna be fine. I know God has a plan for you guys, and he was very recipient in that sense. He was receiving what I was saying, but like you said, some people sad, sad. But I still love him. I'm gonna still pushing. I'm gonna still actually praying for them in that sense that they can come to their senses and they come to what they're doing is not okay. But what we do, and this is what I want to go with it. What we do is gonna make an impact for our family, for our future, for their future, in the way they see us. I want my kids, I want my daughters to have is like, hey, dad, do you have a moment? Can I sit down with you and talk about marriage?
Mhm.
Cool. Why? Because I have history, because I have a background that me and their mom, we've been going through stuff. We have a license to speak about this, right? So that's exactly what I want, right? I don't want to I don't want to my kids just to go with someone else and say, hey, I don't want to talk to my dad because he messed up. I don't want him to talk. I don't because my dad doesn't have a license to speak about money. I don't want to talk to my parents because they don't have a license to speak about marriage, right? Because they messed up.
Mhm.
I mean, John, come on.
Well, I mean,
Is this
and
not common sense?
it's absolute common sense. And there's also, there are things that we do as parents and as our parents have done that have made it hard for us to even come to them with even things that we struggle with.
Yeah.
And so, again, those are, as you're saying, like, yeah, we can't, we're not going to be perfect, but if we're able to be open and honest with our kids, say
Yeah.
these are things that we did struggle with, but this is how the Lord helped us, or this is how we were able to get out
Yeah.
of it. These are resources that we used, and I absolutely, at some point, when Judah starts noticing girls and starts, when, because it's just out there, and
Yeah.
as far as the ability to just obtain anything on the internet, and of course we're going to use wisdom and but when that conversation comes up, like, daddy, believe me, dad's going to say, hey, this was a struggle for dad. This was a struggle
I
that,
think that's very important, John.
like, this was something that I had such a hard time with, but I was able to turn around. I was able to, and now I'm able to help other people. And that is I think the most important thing is, yeah, we're always going to be, and I know it's probably opened up a whole nother branch to another
Yeah.
conversation, but it's just like everything that we go through eventually will lead to us helping somebody else. And I think
It
that's the way
matters.
God intended it to be. And I think that all goes back now to full circle to this mentorship, conversation is, everything we've gone through is not just for us.
Yeah.
Everything that we do and everything now that the decisions that we're making is not just for us anymore. Like,
We
what we're doing, what we've gone through is now, you've gone through it, you learned, you have the wisdom now. Now pour that into your kids and pour that into people who are struggling with that, so that they can now turn around and help other people.
And I think it goes to going to the right source. We see in this generation, and we actually talked about it in the last episode about the red pill and how these men, they talk about the woman as an object, as a sexual object, as a I'm sorry if I say it, but it's just like as a prostitute, right? It is not correct, because not all women are like that. Now, the, there's shows and podcasts that they actually invite prostitutes, and they invite what the Bible says, and they call it like the easy woman, the woman of the street, right? It's like that's their life, that's what they know, and of course you're gonna actually treat them like that, and if they actually If you live in that environment, and that's what I'm saying, going to the right source, the environment that you work on, the environment that you live, the environment that you surround yourself, um, it's important. And you have to
Mhm.
know the difference, and you have to know where to go, and you have to know that at some point, is this gonna hurt me? Is this gonna damage my view of my wife? Is this gonna damage my marriage? Is this gonna damage myself? Is this gonna damage my life? Is this gonna damage my relationship with my kids, my relationship with my parents? Is this gonna damage my parents' life? I think for kids, and I'm just talking about in general, right? But going to the right source is like we have a lot of voices, a lot of chatter, a lot of opinions out there, guys, kids, even wives. Do Are we going to the right source? I think we need to make sure and recognize that most of the time we just listen to TikTok. Most of the time we listen to this women's shows, and they just like, I gotta do whatever I want, and the man is like it's like a battle of sexes, right? It's like men's against women, and then genders and different genders and not genders, and cats and giraffes and stuff like that. It's like, what are we doing? Are we going to the right source? Are we literally are we seeking in the right source, in the right spot? And we're just gonna finish with this because we're already going like almost an hour. But I mean, it feels like I want to speak more and more and more about this stuff. Like I want people just to hear this stuff. And please, if you like us right now, please the push, press the like button, subscribe, and uh, I don't know, John. Is like it's a very interesting topic when we say that Eli had the opportunity to turn things around, because we see in the Bible that God changed his mind on a lot of people. Yeah, he could promise something. Probably, I'd rather actually lose my title. I'd rather lose it because he lost his title. He was part of the lineage of Aaron, who was the first priest. And I personally, I'd rather lose any title than actually lose my life. I'd rather lose anything than rather lose my family. I'd rather lose I'd rather actually break iPads and not watch anything and delete apps from my iPhone and tablets and stuff like that. I'd rather do that than lose my family, than lose my marriage, than lose my wife. If you love something, your heart is gonna be in there. You're gonna do everything you can to make things right.
Mhm.
And if that actually causes you to stumble, gouge it out. That's what the Bible says.
Pluck it out.
Yep.
Yep.
Legacy coffee. I need my coffee, bro.
Come on, bruh.
Come on, bruh. But yeah, again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to all the characters we mentioned right here in this podcast. They're part of our lives in a good and a bad way. In a positive, in a negative way, they actually turn the way we are right now. But I just want to thank everybody who's watching. I just want to thank everybody who's listening. We are working on this. I'm trying to work on the Spanish right now. I stopped. It is a lot. It is a lot. So I wish actually we can have the subscribers so we can get people. And I'm in my I'm not seeking this, but honestly, I would love to turn this as a media company at some point. So if this is actually what I got once in my life, and as of right now, like I say, I have my normal job and I have another job and I have this job and I have my father John is the same way. So we are hustling, but at the same time, we are doing what we're supposed to do. And subscribe, hit the like button.
Subscribe, like, comment, share, do all those things because we said so. No, I'm just kidding. No, because you want to, because you
Because you
like
like us.
us.
We're like, listen, we're cool guys. We're
If you
cool.
like me
Well,
without my glasses, I feel
and,
naked without them. One, and I can barely really even see
well,
what's going.
I got him
So
right
if you see
here.
me like blinking like 100 miles per hour, it's because I'm like trying to focus. I'm trying to. What am I?
You're like when you get allergies, you start like blinking a lot, right? Uh, but
Old
yeah, I
man
have I
eyes.
have my I have my glasses. So we did it without our glasses for the first episode without our glasses. So yes, I did it, and actually I'm going a little like I
Did
want
I
to
not have
blink.
my glasses on?
I saw some glasses over there at the church. I don't know if they were yours. So.
I don't know.
Anyway, but yeah, so you can see the screen right there, right here, and then that's what I'm looking down, and
Wish
then
this
we got
was
the cam.
legacy. Wish this was legacy coffee. I was
I wish
drinking.
this was Legacy Coffee right
Come
here.
on, Oscar.
Okay. We're not gonna say last name, but that was in the last piece of recording. There, that's not
The
gonna be a part
first
of
two
it.
tries, we were trying to get this going.
It was funny, but to all the that's right there, out there. I'm sorry, to all the that's out there. Thank
Yep.
you for watching. For all the moms
This
right there, thank you for watching. For all the young people, actually the young people at our church are like, hey, you guys gonna record? I'm like, yes, we gotta record our podcast. I want to invite actually the young folks right here, young people, young men, so we can have a discussion. At some point, I'm gonna bring all my stuff to the church, and I would love to open up to discussions because they have interesting points. Uh, they're not the millennials young people back in the day, right? These guys are like have more advanced conversations that we used to have before. For us, it was like Michael Jordan, Shaq, Penny, and that was my conversation. To be honest, so I was boring. I was boring. Yeah, and boring.
That's not
Uh,
boring. At our time, that was. Come
well, a
on,
lot of people
those are
said
the
to
goats,
me, I was
man.
like that was the best
Come
part of my
on.
life. I loved it, bro. I loved it. And then guess
That's when
what?
the NBA was
Every
good.
NBA was good at that point.
People were
I
actually
loved
fighting each other.
I don't know. I don't want to say what. I think the commissioner said something like, "Oh, we don't want to bring this violence. We're gonna do all this stuff." Oh my!
Oh,
One of the
your
babies
babies!
already
I
crying.
hear them.
Yeah, hey, they're waking up anyway. But yeah, it was a good era, good times. But we have to continue with this stuff. Hope the NBA actually can bring
I
good
was just
stuff.
watching something where they made a like during the NBA, like one of the NBA trades, how like it was a huge deal for like the Warriors
Oh yeah,
obtaining
between Penny and Chris Webber.
yeah, Chris C Webb, and like how back then there was no social media, there was nothing to like spoil like or no like reports going out like,
That was
oh, we
awesome.
heard so. And so when you would get these trades
It
and
was a
they
surprise for
is
everybody.
a it was like yeah, it was a
Complete.
surprise. It's, oh my gosh, we're getting, oh my gosh. So but now it's like
Imagine if they would have if the Warriors would have gotten Penny Hardaway. Penny Hardaway was a beast. I think he was on his way to be Michael Jordan, but all the injuries and stuff like that. I think just the longevity in how they handle their lives around basketball and outside basketball. Because
oh,
to me, it was like amazing that Michael Jordan at the age of 36, 35, and even actually 40, the last year he played all the 82 games. And then now we see all this like
load
low
management. Yeah.
management. Oh my gosh, come on. Beta. Have you seen that guy?
Yes.
Beta. Anyway, we're not alphas, we're not betas, we're dads, we're people who actually feel. We take care of our families. Yes,
Bench
that's for sure.
players.
We're bench. There you go. There you go. We're bench players. We're a team right here. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. My name is Pablo. John.
John.
Right.
That's me.
No, right here.
Right here.
Right here. And we'll see you next time. And subscribe, like, and share. And subscribe more. Peace out.
I have
We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Deuces.